Tensions between Iran and Israel have reached a dangerous peak. As of June 19, 2025, the conflict has entered a new, more destructive phase. In a shocking escalation, Iran launched a barrage of ballistic missiles early this morning. One of those missiles hit Soroka Medical Center in Sheva, a functioning hospital. While most patients had been moved after advanced warnings, at least 80 people were still injured. Israel has condemned the strike as a war crime, pointing to Iran's deliberate targeting of civilian infrastructure. But that was only part of the assault. Iranian missiles and drones rained down across Israel, hitting key cities like Tel Aviv, Ramat and Holon. Over 270 civilians were wounded in the attack, with several in critical condition. Despite Israel's advanced air defense systems, the number of successful hits marks a dangerous shift in Iran's offensive capabilities. Israel responded immediately. Its air force struck deep into Iranian territory, targeting key sites such as the Arak heavy water reactor, Natanz, and multiple IRGC facilities. Reports suggest hundreds of Iranian casualties, including both military personnel and civilians. While the IAEA confirmed no radiation leaks, the symbolic message was clear. Israel is now willing to strike Iran's nuclear infrastructure directly. Meanwhile, the rhetoric between the two nations has turned explosive. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz called Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, a modern-day Hitler, and stated plainly that he can no longer continue to exist. Prime Minister Netanyahu echoed this tone, warning Iran would pay heavily. For the attack on the hospital, Iran has not remained silent. Tehran has warned that any direct U.S. involvement will trigger an alt war. And intelligence reports suggest Iran is preparing for possible strikes on American military bases in the region. At the same time, U.S. President Donald Trump is facing immense pressure. The White House has announced that a final decision on military intervention in support of Israel will be made within the next 2 weeks. American destroyers have already deployed to the eastern Mediterranean as a show. A force dot around the world, anxiety is mounting. The United Nations, European Union, China, and Russia have all called for restraint. But so far, diplomatic efforts have had little impact. Multiple countries have begun evacuating citizens from both Iran and Israel. India has already launched emergency flights to pull students and workers from Tehran. Civilian life in both countries is spiraling into chaos. In Iran, a nationwide internet blackout, the worst since 2019, has taken hold. And reports suggest mass civilian evacuations are underway in major cities. In Israel, hospitals are operating under high alert and shelters remain open across the country, with rising casualties on both sides and global powers drawn closer to the battlefield. This is no longer just a regional war. It is quickly becoming a crisis with international consequences. The next few days may determine whether the world steps back from the edge or plunges into something far more dangerous. Stay informed and watch closely, because this conflict is no longer about if it will escalate. It's about how far it will go.